Chrissy, you and I, we are very busy. We are always on the go, and sometimes we don't get a chance to catch up at the end of the day and ask what's been going on with each other. But I had an interesting event, you might say, yesterday at the law office.
Tell me about
And
it.
it involves Marilyn. You remember Marilyn, right? She
do.
was the
Oh, I do.
girlfriend of Tim, and Tim passed away, and we're helping Marilyn settle Tim's estate. Well, as it happens, there was a $80,000 that belonged to Tim and Tim's estate, and thereby belongs to Marilyn because Tim left everything to Marilyn. But this $80,000 was under the control of somebody else, and that somebody else went and hired a lawyer. And that lawyer, pretty quickly said, hey, you know what, Tom, we agree that this money belongs, this $80,000 belongs to Tim, thereby belongs to Marilyn, but we got to check it out first. Well, by the time this lawyer had finished checking it out, her attorney's fee was $12,000. $12,000 for checking it out.
That sounds unreasonable.
Completely unreasonable. They had our money held hostage, and they were not going to give it up until they took their chunk of it. So yesterday we finalized this deal. Everybody was in the office, although my client Marilyn did not want to be in the same room with those people.
Understandably.
This man and her lawyer.
Understandably.
Or his lawyer. And, checks were passed. And so when we were done, so I'm in the other room with the other man and his lawyer. She's a female. And I asked that man if he would mind if I had a quiet moment conversation with that lawyer, that lady lawyer. I'm not going to give a name, of course. Mm-hmm. But he walked out, and I said, look, I've been a lawyer for over 35 years. I do not remember ever being so upset with another lawyer for taking advantage of another situation. You may go back and you may talk to your colleagues and your bosses about this great and wonderful $12,000 fee you made, but don't forget that you ripped it off from my client. I will always believe that you ripped off my client, and when I hear your name from now till the end of time, every time I hear your name out there as a lawyer, I'm going to think, oh, that's the lawyer that ripped off my client. And she goes, well, bub. And I go, you have enriched yourself at the expense of my client, and I'm deeply upset that a fellow lawyer would do that here in the state of Florida.
And what was the lawyer's response?
There was no response. It was like, I caught her red-handed other than to walk out of my parking lot and hop in her Mercedes.
That is completely unprofessional.
Well, first of all, I don't think she's a partner in that firm. I mean, I look at the name of the letterhead. She's just an associate, but she's under the gun. She's got, pressures on her to go out there and make money any way she can, and that includes ripping off my client.
There's no excuse for that.
Well, I'm sure she's got an excuse for it. She's got a lot of pressure, but, she is driving a Mercedes.
There's no excuse for what she did.
Well, it's shameful. And, when I got done
Tom, that is not a reasonable fee.
It was not a reasonable fee, but there's not a thing we could do about it. They had our money, and they were not going to release it until they took their chunk of it. And we could not have litigated it and gotten out of it with less money. That's the unfortunate part about it. They knew that. They had the leverage, and they used it to every advantage that they could. So, when I was done giving her my little peace of mind, and she knew exactly what I was talking about. She looked at me with those little puppy dog eyes and know that she'd been caught, But I went back and told my client that I gave her a piece of my mind, and my client was very happy about that.
As you did the right thing, Tom, and by calling this attorney out on that, absolutely, because they should have been called out, and that's a minimum.
Well, you know what? She's going to get away with it. Life goes on. She's going to get away with it, but I'm going to always remember what happened here, and I will always speak those words if I ever have an opportunity. If I'm ever talking about her with another lawyer, I'll make sure I repeat the story to them.
Absolutely.